working. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to use this new feature that I found on Google Meets called Jamboard. Do your other teachers use that at all? Or no?
Yeah, my math teacher does.
I don't think Miss Noel does.
So I'll show it to you. It'll come up. So open a jam. So this, I'm going to start a new one. And actually, I'm going to start this one with you guys. This was from my last class, but I'm going to make some edits to it because I want to know what you guys think. Let's see if it comes up with the same information. So hopefully by now you've completed finding your 3 pieces of textual evidence. Let's see. Here we go. Great, great. Awesome, awesome. Sorry guys, just moving a little slow. Okay. So hopefully by now you've come up with, yeah, it's okay. Hopefully by now you've come up with your 3 pieces of textual evidence. So you had to, I'm just going to review as a reminder, you had to find 1 piece of evidence for each of the boxes. So you are given the theme statement and you have to copy word for word and cite properly a piece of evidence from the text that supports that theme statement. So I give you an example here. Please do not use that as evidence to support the theme statement because it doesn't make sense. So if we were to read it, I'll show you how it doesn't make sense. Our lesson or our theme for the Ghost of Christmas Past states, what happens in the past affects how you are in the future. And then the example was, they owe me money and I will collect. Doesn't really fit. It has to be relevant, meaning it has to show how that theme is, applied in the story. So you're going to cite it like this, all of your evidence. I'm going to be a little harsher grading this because we've been working with citing evidence for quite some time. So please just proofread your work and don't be lazy about it. Make sure that you have quotation marks around the quote is copied word for word, that you have the author last name in parentheses and capitalized, page number, and parenthesis period. So you had to find 1 quote for The Ghost of Christmas Past, and the theme statement was, what happens in the past affects how you are in the future. You needed a quote for how you treat people affects what they think of you. And then hopefully you already had that done before today. So today you had to come up with 1 piece of evidence for this theme statement. What you do in the past and the present has a ripple effect on your future. Would anybody like to share the piece of evidence they gathered today? Or some people even did it yesterday while we read the little bit of the introduction of scene 4. Would anybody like to share their piece of evidence? And again, it's what you do in the past and the present has a ripple effect in the future. So did we find anything that showed how Scrooge's past or how his present affects his future or what will be? No one found one? Nobody?
I did.
Can you share with us, please?
The Ghost of Christmas Future?
Yes, that would be excellent.
The one I chose it says lead on, then lead on. The night is warning and it's precious time to me. Lead on, Spirit. Please take me back. I understand my punishment.
Excellent. So how does that relate to what you do in the past and present having a ripple effect on the future? How did you relate that?
Because in the end where he says, please take me back, I understand my punishment, he understands of what he did in the past and what type of ripple effect it's taking on him in the future. Excellent
job. Snap, crackle, pop, and props to you, Miss May. Excellent, excellent job. Anyone else have one they want to share? So again, as long as you can explain it and as long as I, as your instructor, can see that there's a connection and it's not just you found a random piece of evidence, you'll be great there. So I want to move on to a theme statement. So we're going to write this together. So I'm going to access the Jamboard. So it says here, I'm going to delete some of this because we're going to make our own notes. That was from last class. Okay. I might have one example. I'll leave one example up. So let's see. Addison wants to add. Let's see what she stated. I used that quote too, and he was saying that he regrets everything and doesn't want to be a miser anymore. Yes, exactly. Excellent work. That's great. Good job. So, theme. It says, after reviewing the lessons that Scrooge learned from each ghost, explain what you think the theme of the overall play is. So, we've found evidence to support 3 themes. So, we've been given the 3 themes already, right? Now, we're coming up with one for the entire play. And remember, what are the things that we cannot include in a theme statement? What are things that we cannot have?
Characters.
Names.
Names, characters, what else? Excellent.
Like, can we include places? I don't think we can.
So you can't include, that's a great question. You cannot include plot details because a theme statement should be universal. What does that mean when I say it should be universal? What could that mean?
It can comply to everyone.
Yes, it applies to everybody. Excellent. Snap, crackle, pop. Props to everyone who is sharing. Excellent work. Yes, so if we have plot details, that makes it not able to apply to us because did we live in Victorian London in the 1840s? Maybe some of us did if you're a ghost. Who knows? But I didn't, right? So it has to be universally applicable. Okay. So here's the questions we should be thinking about, and I'm going to take some notes so we can kind of start to brainstorm here. So I'd like other people besides my people that normally speak, just feel free to pop in and share, okay? I want everyone to try to speak a little bit. So I want us to think, how does Scrooge change throughout this play? How does he change? What do we think, guys? We're just brainstorming.
At the beginning, he was like all grumpy, but then like when he saw that, like, or when he was with like the present, the future, and all of them, I forget what they're called, but then he like noticed like his actions, and then he wanted to change his actions.
I like that a lot. I like that you said at the end, he noticed his actions and wanted to change. Now, I'm going to push you guys a little bit because I agree, he is grumpy in the beginning, but I think he is even a step further than grumpy. Remember, he even says in the beginning of the play, like, I wish that all the poor people died so that way they would decrease the surplus population of people. Like, I think that's a step beyond grumpy even, right? So what are some other one-word character traits? And you can think back to your assignment we completed as well this week for character traits. What else could we use to describe Scrooge in the beginning besides just grumpy?
Selfish.
Selfish.
Miser.
Yeah. Miser. Yep. All those
Unkind.
words. Yes. Kind. Great job. So if we have more, we can add those. That's great. So we kind of talked just briefly about how he changes. Does anybody else want to add anything to how Scrooge changes throughout the play?
At the beginning, he was like miserable and greedy, and then once he saw like what his effect on people was, he changed.
Yes. You notice his actions. I'm going to put / effect on others. And again, you don't have to copy these notes, but I want us to be brainstorming together so that way we can see when you have to create your very own theme statement by yourself, next unit, you guys can feel comfortable doing this, okay? So he notices actions.
He also noticed that his actions were making a ripple effect in the future for himself and for others.
Wanted to change, I like that, for himself and others. So it is somewhat of not selfish that he wanted to change. Of course, selfishly, he does not want to pass away and he wants to live a long life, but also he wants to change to help others and because he is starting to be more mindful and more selfless. Yes. So lastly, what do you think Scrooge learns? What do we think he learns?
I think
caring.
What was that, Maddie?
Like how to care for other people.
Ooh, I like that. How to care for others. I'm going to put learns. Awesome, Maddie. Great job. What else could we say? What does he learn?
he learns how to be kind and be fortunate for others, and maybe how he didn't even want to give to the poor. He just wanted, he was like, no, but then he realized what it's like giving and how much it can help out that other person.
Sure, helping those less fortunate. Yep. I think that's one of his biggest transformations, right? He goes from wanting to help others financially because he has the means to do that, from being like, you should all just die. Like, that's crazy. Okay. So I have an example theme statement that a student in my previous class came up with. So I want us to read it and I want us to think about if it works for what we're trying to do. So the theme statement my first hour came up with was, consider your actions and others' emotions before making your choices. Does that include character names? What do we think? Does it?
No.
Nope. Does it
No.
have any plot details in it?
No.
No. So that would be a great theme statement. Now, can we come up with something similar? Can we come up with our own theme statement now that we have brainstormed a little and now that we know an example of what a theme statement looks like? It shouldn't be more than 2 sentences, so we can keep it like 1 to 2 sentences. Think about it, and I want us to come up with our own as a class. And it's okay if we need to edit it. That's totally fine. This is like a learning process. Maybe our theme statement could talk about how Scrooge notices actions and effect on others and wants to change. So maybe we can incorporate that into our theme statement.
He learned that he should be nicer instead of mean.
Definitely. So let's see. We could say, so I think the ghost helps Scrooge to reflect on his actions. What does it mean when we reflect on something? What do you guys think that means? If I tell you to
We're kind of like copy off the other person almost.
Sure. So what in a reflection in the mirror, like a literal reflection, is you seeing like a copy of yourself. If you're reflecting on your actions, you're thinking about, it's kind of like thinking about your thinking. So if I were to tell you guys, reflect on your grade, you would be thinking about, okay, could I do something differently? Could I have done my very best? Or did I do my very best? Did I study? All those things. So reflecting on your actions, what does that do in the play and for others? Like, say you get in a fight with your friend or maybe your sibling or a parent, and then you're thinking about that fight later on. How does that affect you when you think about it and you reflect on it?
You reflect like what you said, what you did, or what you might have said that may have been hurtful to that other person.
Definitely. So how can we kind of use that to create a theme statement for how Scrooge has reflected and how that has changed him?
Maybe we could say like, think before you speak or something like that. Or I don't remember. Sorry.
Sure. So I'm going to put this in parentheses because I like that a lot, May. It's kind of cliched. Not that that's a bad thing, but a cliche is like a term that is repeated often. Like home is where the heart is, or live, laugh, love, right? Or actions speak louder than words, right? So we want to come up with something that's a little more specific to our story. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's a great start, though. So our theme statement could be reflecting on your actions. So what happens to Scrooge and to us as people when we reflect on our actions?
We want to change our actions.
Yeah, reflecting on your actions can require you to change.
Can require changes.
Reflecting on your actions can require changes. What do you guys think about that? Can we reword it, or does that sound okay? What type of changes? Let's be more specific.
Self changes.
Self emotions, like the way you speak or what you say when you speak.
Reflecting on your actions can require one to change their their speech, we already said actions once, so I don't want to say it again. So what's another word we could say?
Speech or like
Anyone else want to help?
Way of life.
Ooh, I like that. Awesome. Snap, crackle, pop, props. Reflecting on your actions can require one to change their way of life. Ooh, I like that.
Or change their effort.
Sure. So I'll change their efforts.
Because I thought that because like he didn't really like care about how he was treating people, but then now he's like caring more and he wants to make more of an effort to like make people like he's not known as like grumpy or anything anymore.
I like that. So let's reflect on these two, or I just said reflect and it says it in the theme statement. Let's think if these two fit our criteria of no character names, no plot details, and they can be universally applied, meaning they work for me, for you, for your parents, etc. Reflecting on your actions can require one to change their way of life. Do you guys agree with that? I think that works.
I like that. I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that works because you can use it for lots of different scenarios. Maybe you reflect on your actions and you know that you're not maybe living a healthy lifestyle. So maybe you make changes in what you eat or how you exercise, right? So that can definitely work for lots of different people and situations. Reflecting on your actions can require one to change their efforts. I agree. Maybe you reflect on your actions, for example, in school, and you know that you maybe need to put forth more effort, right? So I'm going to copy these two in the chat. I think they're excellent. So you guys can write either of these in that last box, okay? So I'll put
Should we submit this or no?
Yes. So make sure before you submit that it is a completed assignment. So again, just to reiterate, hopefully we have 5 minutes left, so we're good. Hopefully before you came to class today, you had completed a quote from The Ghost of Christmas Past and Present. And then today, all you had to do is find a quote to support this theme statement from The Ghost of Christmas Future. And then together, we wrote the theme statement. So you can pick one of the two theme statements that I put in the chat, and you can put it here. Any questions before we submit the assignment? We have 5 minutes left, so we have lots of time still. Any questions about?
Were we going to do the Kahoot?
So we don't have time today for the Kahoot because I wanted us to finish as much of the play as we could. And I really wanted to make sure that we felt good about themes since it will be on your Q2 exam. And we only really have like 5 minutes, but maybe we can do something fun. So I'm going to stop the recording since we don't have too much time left.